No, it's fine. We fixed it already.
Okay, was it on the table? Or
it was on the floor.
It should be on the floor, yeah.
Oh, it should be. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want it up there.
Put it down. So we take pictures and stuff.
You can.
You guys are videos on. You're on, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Great. We're here at Jazz Live San Diego with Lizzi Trumbore. Welcome to Jazz Live San Diego.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you here, and I'm not sure that we've ever had a current college jazz student as a lead performer at Jazz Live San Diego.
Yeah,
so groundbreaking.
Thank you. It's fun. I'm excited that I get to do it. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, tell us about your bandmates tonight. Who are you playing with?
Yes, I'm playing with probably my favorite jazz musicians in San Diego. Justin Grinnell on bass and Leonard Patton on vocals and cajon. I took voice lessons from Leonard for about a year, and he helped me get through the college audition process, and then we just started getting together. So he's been the one who's gotten me a lot of the gigs. I'm like, oh, you should play with this person, which led me to Peter Sprague on guitar, who of course is awesome. He was I would go to concerts with my parents when I was really young, and be with it would be Peter Sprague and the string consort or something like that. So oh my god, that's Peter Sprague. And then eventually we just got to play together, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's great. Well, let's talk about, we mentioned the college students, so let's talk a little bit about what you do now. You're a student at the University of North Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that is a legendary jazz program. So tell us about what are you studying there at University of North Texas?
I am currently getting a a jazz studies degree with an emphasis in vocal performance. So that a lot of oral skills and theory and all that basic stuff, and doing different ensembles. And then I'm still playing trombone, not with a degree or anything, but in big bands and trombone choir and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of different options and things that you can do there, since it's such a huge music school. So yeah.
And so you mentioned trombone. So you're not doing a formal study of trombone. Yeah. You're focusing on your vocal work.
Yes.
And then the formal ensembles. So at Jazz 88 here, we have many albums from the 1 O'Clock Lab Band. So that's kind of the premier band of that. Does a band like the 1 O'Clock Lab Band, do they have vocalists in that band?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they'll pull in a chart. If someone arranged a chart for vocals or something, they'll bring in one of the singers from the top group, or a master student or something like that. But generally, they actually have 4 separate vocal jazz ensembles, which is a lot because most schools don't even have one. So that's really cool that there's so many students to play off of and learn from and stuff.
And are you in one of those 4 vocal ensembles? Yes. And are they broken up by year, or how are they?
Essentially year and just mostly year and skill and sight reading and stuff. I was in the third. There are 4 groups, so I was in the third one this year. So that's where most of the freshmen and sophomores ended up being in. So.
And you just finished your second year, correct?
My first year.
Your first year. Oh, okay, great. So you still got 3 years to go? Are you on a 4-year plan, or a 5-year plan?
4. We'll see what happens with general ed and stuff like that, but we're planning on 4. So.
And in that program, how is it? When you got into it, you must have known that this was a prestigious jazz program. How has it lived up to those standards? Has it been really hard, tough? What kind of things happened that you didn't expect?
It's been really good. It's just such a huge program that there are so many different things that I didn't know that I could possibly be a part of, and it's definitely it has a huge tradition. I mean, it was the first jazz school to offer jazz majors in the world, I guess. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it just has a lot of tradition and history, and then it's really nice because some of the professors also allow you to build on that. So they make sure that there's especially in the vocal jazz department, that they have progress, and that you're not just sticking with the same stuff, but you're finding new things and contemporary. So I like that a lot. I wasn't sure what I would get with that, but I'm glad. That's it.
So what have you been exposed to in this first year of college that you weren't before?
Well, definitely just kind of singing in general. I mean, obviously I would sing a lot, but never in groups. I would just have to go out and seek out on my own in different combo situations and gigs. So getting to sing an ensemble, that was fairly new to me. And just being around that student atmosphere and so many like amazing players and different bands. I also was able to be a part, like, singing in the Afro-Cuban and Brazilian ensembles, which are all percussion, and then vocalists. So that was something really different that I've never done before that, like, really expanded me. So, yeah.
So when you're in a music program like that, you're not just taking music classes, you also have general study classes?
Yeah, I haven't taken any yet, but I will have to, so...
So you mean you spent your whole first year doing
Yes.
music?
Yeah, that's basically what I did, yeah.
And is that a standard thing for,
yeah, that's
for
recommended
people to do?
for UNT, yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
maybe you really realize you should be here and...
Yeah,
and
or the
wanted-
other way around, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk then about how you started playing. Did you grow up in a musical family?
Yeah, my parents, they were both in band, orchestra / choir in high school, and so they always, like, they're not professional musicians, but, you know, sometimes they'll still keep it up and, like, play around here and there, and they're all just, like, very supportive of both me and my sister, who's also a musician. They'd always take us to, like, different concerts, like symphonies, you know, jazz stuff, just whatever, so, like, there would always be really good music playing in the house, so they definitely were, like, a big, like, starting point for all of that, and continue to be, so.
And then did, as far as formal education, did you take lessons early?
Yeah, I started taking piano lessons when I was 6, and then I switched teachers when I was 13 and started doing some jazz stuff, like, basic, but that helped me definitely grow a lot, just, like, as far as, like, jazz theory and, like, knowledge of intervals and stuff like that. And then I started playing trombone in 5th grade, and then middle school and high school. That was most of what I did. And then freshman year of high school, I started singing. I saw the what's it called? The All-State Jazz Choir in California, in Fresno. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. So I tried out, and then for the next 3 years, I was able to do that. So, and then Matt Falker was the guy who really, like, helped me, like, audition for that, and, like, I don't know, he just, like, raised me in that way so I could really see what I wanted to do.
Matt Falker, educator at Miracosta College
Yeah.
up here in northern San Diego County. So then you also played and was a student at the Jazz 88.3 Summer Jazz Workshop put on in coordination with Francis Parker School. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I did that 2 or 3 years ago. I was in what's considered the vocal ensemble, so it was just me and another vocalist. And then we worked with Leonard Patton, and then we got to work with all the faculty there, and they're all just, like, the nicest people, and, like, great bomb players, and, like, great teachers and everything. So it was just, like, a really fun environment to be a part of. Yeah, and they let us do, like, all sorts of, like, challenging material for high schoolers. It was just a fun experience. Yeah.
Then tell me how you went in the direction of jazz as opposed to, so I'll assume you liked music and you liked playing, you liked that idea of performing and being able to express yourself. A lot of people do that and go pop or play rock. How did you decide to go jazz?
Well, I started mostly doing, like, classical trombone and stuff like that. And I really liked it. Like, I enjoyed playing ensembles, and I liked, you know, doing music in, like, a professional kind of manner, like an educational manner. But then when I started doing jazz band in 6th grade, and I did, like, all Southern middle school jazz band or something like that. And that, like, really, I was, like, I latched onto that. And definitely, like, also listening to Jazz 18.3, that was a big thing, too. Because around 6th grade was when my parents started to play that more. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I got, like, attached to, like, the funkiness and the improvising and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So the improvisational part, which is really a key part of jazz, was that something that came easy to you, or?
Yeah, I mean, it came pretty naturally. I mean, not necessarily from the jazz context of, like, all the bebop stuff, but, like, just improvising in general. Like, I would sit down when I was, like, 7 and just, like, play stuff at the piano. I don't know if it was good, but it was, like, you know, just making up stuff. And that was just, like, I would sit there for, like, hours, and I just have a lot of fun doing that. So when I was like, oh, this is, like, basically what the genre is, so then I, like, latched onto that. Yeah.
Well, we did a preview of the concert 2 weeks ago, and you had just recorded a couple tunes for that. How was that process, the recording process? Was that something you had experienced before?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a little bit just like on other people's projects, like background vocals and stuff like that, but never on my own project. And we recorded it at Peter Sprague's studio, which was a great studio. So that was I was really fortunate to do that. And of course, with these guys, Leonard and Justin and Peter, it was really easy. We just knocked it out and had a good time doing it. Yeah, it was chill.
So those tunes were original compositions?
The Facing Time is original, and then I'm Gonna Lock My Heart is like a standard, lesser done, more of like a vocal tune. But.
So tell us about the composition process then. How do you feel about that? Because that seems to be another a big direction to go into, is whether you're going to interpret standards or even standards of the current day, or you're going to write your own and kind of do your own thing like that.
Yeah, I'd like to do all three, definitely. The songwriting process for me is always very different each time. Sometimes I'll come up with the melody first and then later the lyrics. Sometimes I'll come up with like an idea of lyrics and then, or a chord progression or whatever. For that specific tune, Facing Time, I went to like a show of like a UNT alumni, and I was just like really inspired. Just like, I'm gonna go and lock myself in a practice room at midnight for like a couple hours and just like see what happens. So I came up with like a little instrumental line, and then I like built up on that with like chords and lyrics, and that one flowed more naturally than others did. I think that's why I liked it so much. But yeah, it's always
And
different.
in your studies, either prior to UNT or UNT, is composition something that you're learning, that you're doing in that?
Yeah, definitely. At UNT, I think in a couple of years I'll be taking like a songwriting class, which is more lead sheet format. So that's already what I've been doing. I haven't been doing like composition on like a larger scale, but definitely more like songwriting and stuff like that.
So as you kind of look at yourself right now and kind of what you've done prior, what kind of plans do you have for the future? What are you thinking about, things that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things. I mean, I plan on being a freelance musician. Probably have to do something on the side for a while. I understand that, but that's okay. I just want to be like surrounded by music all the time. So just doing like performing and gigs and teaching and composing and writing and whatever I can get my hand on. I would like to eventually, possibly at this point, to be able to like tour and not have to worry about like, oh, let's make sure people come to these shows, like to do like bigger festivals and stuff like that. But whatever happens, I'm excited for it. It'll be cool.
Is that part of your education, your formal education too, is how to be that kind of freelance musician who has to, in this day and age, be their own marketer, their own, doing all of those things themselves? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of it is mostly just the music education. Unfortunately, there isn't like a huge like music business emphasis at UNT, but they definitely do like, especially for the instrumentalists, like teaching you how to be like a really good studio musician and like how to be able to like front a band and stuff like that. So basically just stuff that gives you street cred, and like when you go to wherever, like New York, you'll be able to make a good name for yourself and you'll be prepared. So yeah, that definitely comes hand in hand with being freelance. So.
Have you thought about that, going to New York versus trying to make your home base here in San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to live in New York, but maybe for like a couple of years just to like sink my toes in. And since there's so many people there, I don't know if I would live there, but we'll see. It's worth checking out.
Well, we're really looking forward to seeing what happens with you going forward. You've been a part of San Diego Jazz already, and really looking forward to seeing what happens in the future. Thank you so much for being with us, Lizzie.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, cool.
Cool. I'm going to get an ID from you, Lizzie, real quick.
All right.
While we have you. Pick one of these that you like.
Awesome.
Oh, bye.